The easiest way is to think about your character at every moment and say, what's the average person who's watching this taking in? And what you want to do is every once in a while, you want to surprise them with having your character do something that your average outsider would say, boy, if I was in that situation, I wish I would have the courage to do that, but I probably don't have the courage to do it. And it can be in anything. Let's say that someone's having a bad day in the office, and they're having a fuss with their boss, and then in the middle of it, they say, "You know what? I've had enough. I don't care that I got $20 in my bank account. You're not going to talk to me that way anymore," and they walk out. Now, what a dangerous thing for someone to do economically, but what a right thing for someone to do for their own growth. And if you have that as the opening scene of your story, you got the audience on your side. You have someone who said, I'm worth more than this. Because how many of us really feel that we're being treated as to our real value? Probably almost no one. And so when you have that person stepping out of their comfort zone, almost like in the hero's journey, but it doesn't have to be heroic. It can be minor. It can be someone, a kid saying in class, while they're being picked on, and the teacher is saying, well, you both were bad. And this kid goes, no, he hit me. I'm not going to take that. So that's why I popped him back. You have now convinced half the people in the audience to maybe go home and do something brave that they wouldn't have done. Your mom, who's always a nag, says, well, I guess you just don't like my food, trying to guilt you. And you go, you know what, Mom? You're actually right. You know what? I'll take a cooking class. How's that sound? And I'll make the dinner. How many of us as kids would have loved to have done that? But how many of us as kids were afraid, okay, we're going to get hit by the frying pan? But how often would it have been that the parent was being underestimated by the kid too? And now the mom says, oh, you mean you really don't like my my tuna twice fricasseed casserole? And you're like, no, I don't actually. So now we have truth. And once you have truth between your characters, you have an opportunity for them to blossom. And again, that's why I can't tell you how much my own life was saved by watching Money Movie 7 every day and watching tacky soap operas from the 40s and going, okay, you know what? If Betty Davis wouldn't do it, I'm not doing it either. And it was helpful. Because here I was, this fat kid who was completely unathletic. You weren't that in Virginia at that time, and yet, and so I couldn't relate to a male star, but I could relate to someone who was an outsider. It used to drive my dad crazy too, because for some reason he never understood. It's like, oh, you know what? Cleopatra Jones is playing at the Uptown. I really want to see it. My dad's like, what are you doing? You want to go see a blaxploitation movie in the bad area of town. Of course, I didn't know what the bad area of town was, but because I was connecting to Get Christie Love, I was connecting to the TV telecast of Shaft, and seeing someone who was in a position like mine as an outsider, not quite fitting in, and bonding with it. And I didn't know it at the time. I just thought I'm a weird kid, and yet that's really the connection that audiences go to movies for, or why we read books. Why is it that way too many of us in our late 40s are reading the Harry Potter books? It's like, okay, this is really embarrassing. I guess I got to put another book cover over this so no one knows what I'm really reading. And yet we're connecting with it because it brings us back to our own childhoods when we wish we had that magic power. And we see Harry not comfortable with it, and yet he grows into it, and the older we are when we read that, we go, I get it. And we wish we could tell our kids who are reading the books, no, you don't understand. This book's better than you think. Harriet the Spy is better than you think. It's because we have the perspective.